What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about something honestly kind of sad, because this whole situation, obviously, it's involving a kid, and he can't really defend himself in this whole thing. He not only is just a child, he's, 5 years old, but also he's a special needs child, so it's not even like he's really got the capability to, stand up and speak out for himself or anything like that, and plus, his family also just doesn't really, it seems, have the understanding of the situation, or, they don't really have the knowledge to tackle this one head on either, and everyone else involved in the situation is just taking this the wrong way and just being really unnecessary about the whole situation, in my opinion. I think this one has been completely overblown, and for what it's worth, this kid who is special needs is being treated like a criminal at the age of 5 years old when he's just a sweet little kid who honestly doesn't really know that what he's doing is actually wrong. To give you guys a little bit of background on this whole thing, basically what was going on is there's this 5-year-old kid who has autism who was going to school, and he was hugging some of his classmates, and he kissed one of them on the cheek, and he is now basically being labeled as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Because basically in kindergarten, at the age of kindergarten, he was giving people hugs in school and kissed one on the cheek as a special needs student. He, for the rest of his life, is now going to have a criminal record. Now, according to this article that we're about to read here, the claim that they were told was that this 5-year-old kid, the autistic kid Nathan, had been labeled a sex predator and would have it on his record forever. His guardian, Sumri Putnam, I think that's the name, said she'd received a call from the school near the start of September that made her, quote, sick to her stomach. The teacher called me and she said that you need to have a talk with him about boundaries. Now, she also said that the teacher accused her son of, quote, sexual activities. Now, personally, I think this is completely ridiculous. You're gonna accuse a 5-year-old child of sexual activities. Odds are he doesn't even know what sex is. He's 5 years old. Probably nobody in that class, except for the teacher, knows what that is in the first place. So odds are there are no sexual activities. It would be different if he was full out just trying to do it. Dude, he hugged another kid in class. He hugged somebody and kissed someone on the cheek. It wasn't what they're trying to make it out to be. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to make it out like he was just out here basically going hard in the paint, just assaulting people. You know what I'm saying? If this was high school or something like that, maybe. But the kid is in kindergarten. Obviously in high school or in college, even in middle school and stuff like that. Once you get a little bit older, you can't just be going around hugging people and putting your hands on people and stuff like that. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna face some sort of repercussions. The school's gonna obviously punish you. That's when it's gonna be seen as being sexual intent. The kid is in kindergarten, and on top of that, he is a special needs student, and the school's just you know what? It had to have had some sort of negative intent. It's what are you talking about, man? If you don't understand how autism works, you would think that he's acting out or being defiant, but that's not the situation, Putnam said. I talked to him and I said that you can't hug children. He said, why? I said, because it's not allowed. That's what I'm saying. The kid clearly doesn't even understand, why he's being reprimanded for this whole thing. He doesn't even comprehend in his head, what's going on. In his mind, what's going on isn't even a problem. He sees this as being, perfectly acceptable nature. Like I said, it'd be different if he was in high school or something, running people down in the halls, tackling them to the ground or something. That would be different, but that's not the case. To bring something like this against a child, a special needs child that doesn't really understand what he's done wrong. Nathan's grandmother, Debbie Amick, these names, man, pleaded for help on Facebook. What do you do when a 5-year-old child is being labeled as a sexual predator and accused of sexual harassment by the school system? It was disclosed that it will go in his record for the rest of his life that he is a sex offender. Now, see, here's the thing. I don't really understand the whole situation, so this is just pure speculation. But I don't really think that's how this one's gonna work, because, in order for it to, last for his whole life, wouldn't they have to, charge him with a crime? Because, I can see how, the school system or whatever would be able to, list it in his school record or whatever, because, obviously, as he, goes out of kindergarten or elementary school or whatever, up into the other grades, and he goes into, junior high or whatever, they can just bring his records over into the other schools throughout the district or whatever, and it can just, have that label in it or whatever. But I mean, like, what police department is just going to be like, all right, the school district said this, there was no charges brought about him, so what we're going to do is take that label and we're going to put it on his record for the rest of his life. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, I think either the school district was just lying, or I think that they don't know what they're talking about. Something doesn't really add up about that, but that doesn't even make any sense. Like, the rest of his life, he's gonna have this on his record. What? And let's say by some miracle or something, like negative miracle, that it does happen and he does have this on his record for the rest of his life. Why does he deserve that? Why should this even be on his record in the first place? Like, he did something in kindergarten. Like, can you imagine if you did something wrong in kindergarten and they just marked down everything you did and they're like, all right, well, remember that time that in kindergarten you hugged one of your classmates? You're just trying to get a job when you're like 34, right? Like, dream career, something like that. Like, you went to college for 4 years or something like that, and you're trying to get this dope job or whatever. Hey, remember that time in kindergarten, you hugged a classmate and you're now a sexual predator? Yeah, we'll have to decline you for this job offer. It's like, do you know how ridiculous that sounds? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would this kid ever have this put anywhere on his record, let alone his lifelong record? This child is autistic. He comprehends and functions very differently than your typical 5-year-old child. Who do you turn to for help when the school will not even listen to the child's doctor when he explains that the child's difficulties in his comprehension of simple things such as boundaries? If anyone can offer advice or help, please do. I mean, if the school's not even going to cooperate on the whole thing, it's like, I mean, I don't even know what you can do at that point. Like, if they're just going to put it on his record and move forward with it, like, can you sue him? I don't know. Like, I don't know what you can do. Because at this point, it just seems like they're just trying to push this one forward for no reason. This has blown up into like a big news story. This honestly is one of the most recommended news stories I've ever gotten to talk about. This happened like a month ago, and I've just been kind of pushing this one onto the back burner just to kind of, maybe I'll do this one next week or whatever. But it just keeps getting recommended. And I'm surprised that all the media coverage never almost coerced this school district into stopping doing what they're doing, because it's kind of ridiculous in the first place. But apparently the school claimed to have spoken with him on several previous occasions, but once again, he's a special needs child. I mean, you speak with a kid who can comprehend things on a normal basis. You speak with them once or twice maybe. They can generally pick those kinds of things up and be like, okay, I understand that that's wrong. This kid is autistic. He doesn't necessarily pick that up the first or second time that you talk to him. And even then, here's the thing. Here's what's crazy about this. They only gave 2 examples of him quote-unquote sexually harassing other people, which was a hug, the most bare-bones form of quote-unquote sexual assault that I could ever think of, hugging somebody, and then kissing someone on the cheek. It wasn't like he made out with them or anything. A kiss on the cheek is essentially what your mom gives you. You know what I'm saying? Or what grandma gives you on Thanksgiving. It's ridiculous to even... What kind of sexual assault is that? So you're telling me when your great-grandma gave you kisses on the cheek when you were 6, she was sexually assaulting you? Come on, man. And then they keep saying, oh, well, we had to speak with him on several previous occasions. But for what? You don't tell anybody what you had to speak with him for. You could have spoken with him because he spilled juice on the floor. You could have spoke with him because he was too aggressive at recess. You could have had to speak with him because he was running in the hallway. I think maybe this one's being taken just a tad bit too far. That's my personal opinions on it. Let me know what you guys think down below, of course. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at SubToptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there as well. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Enter generic outro line here. And signing out.